acquisitions, okay? And this is whether you buy a single asset or you buy an entire company. The first is that you acquire under market. And if you're thinking, well, why would anybody sell their business for less than it's worth if they were to fully market? And it's the same thing if you think about all the shows on television about people that can flip houses. Why are those people that are investing in those houses able to buy them under market? Well, because usually there's some sort of challenge. Whether fixing up the house, not having the money to fix it up, not having time. There's some challenge that the seller has that causes them to be a motivated seller. So if we can
hello to my YouTube audience. This is the first time that I have actually done a YouTube live in about 16 years, I think. Basically, I have produced over 2,500 hours of YouTube material about entrepreneurship and marketing and sales. And I wasn't really, I didn't try to bring folks to my YouTube channel to watch the videos. I tried to take them to web landing pages. I publish web landing pages, publish and produce web landing pages. But I am making a major transition in my publishing and producing. I have changed the technology platform. I've been on GoDaddy's I've been on GoDaddy's servers for the last 3 years, and I am now on Google servers, where I should have been a long time ago, but it is what it is. Google servers throughout my career in digital marketing, I've always wanted to be as close to Google servers as I possibly could be, because when folks, it's been a strategy for me, and it absolutely has worked for me over the years. So today,
and so this is something that we've used across. For Jay, it's thousands. For me, it's about 100.
Today we're going to be watching a launch of a book. I actually had a conversation with Jay, who just walked on the stage, about the book a week ago, and I have it. Well, you'll find it you should be able to find it on this YouTube channel. At any rate, this book launch will absolutely be the major book launch ever done in cyberspace. There's not a question in my mind. If anybody can make that dynamic happen, it's Jay Abraham, who I called him the voice of business, big or small, the voice of business. Probably the most authorities of business on the planet. But it's been a really exciting time for me to make the changes that I've been making in the way I publish and produce. And today, for this event, if you can log on to it directly, you can win some prizes. But watching this, where you're going to learn about the most important thing you're going to learn, and this is what I'm all about. This is why the launch has my specific interest. Unlock the potential of exponential entrepreneurship, mastering the art of strategic alliances, storytelling, and capitalizing on big ideas. And I've been doing the best that I can for the last 50 years on those things. So,
there we go. 5 to 10%, 20% don't sell, 50, 6, 10. You know what?
Oh, they were taking a survey. The conversation actually begins in a little over a minute. But if you have anything that you would like to talk to me about or share with me, maybe put a comment in the YouTube comment area, and I will definitely give you a response to whatever it is that you have on your mind. So, in 27 seconds, we're going to watch the most unbelievable book launch of all time. Incidentally, the name of Jay's book is Business Wealth Without Risk. Business Wealth Without Risk. And inside that book, you will find assets to your business. Uh-oh, what happened? Technical difficulties. You are viewing.
Stand by.
Here we go.
I believe they are getting ready to launch.
Oh.
So please stand by. Welcome, everyone, and thank you all for engaging in that pre-show. I think they are queuing up something right now. I don't have access to that.
They hit a technology glitch, and
so welcome, everyone.
I deal with those every day of my life. So, also, too, one of the things, and
if you haven't ever seen Jay and Roland live, you are in for it.
let's get into this. I'll talk about it later. Marketing and sales collaboratives. One of the projects that we are currently developing are marketing sales collaboratives in the 387 statistical markets. There's MSAs. There are 387 MSAs, and they are defined. Those are where we, and any one of those, we will be building our marketing sales collaboratives, creative marketing sales collaboratives. You will be exposed to things that the things have been working for us, and we are going, for me, and we will simply show and work together to make them work for you. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Wait for it. Oh my Lord. We are all challenged. Anytime we do anything digitally.
Welcome to our launch of our book. It is called Business Wealth Without Risk. I am your host, Roland Frazier, and
there it is. There it is, finally.
Jay,
let's watch.
Great to have you here this morning. Great to have you here. It's great to have everyone here. So we've created this program to give you a really cool look inside the book and what we're doing. And you can see copies of the book as it actually exists right here behind me. So we're gonna jump in and start. We've got a lot of things for you guys to take away from today, and some special surprise bonuses and gifts. Appreciate you being here, and let's hop in. So first, I want to talk about what others are saying about this. And I'm going to let Jay talk a little bit about these three folks, because Jay and I have both been fortunate enough to have a relationship with Tony, but Jay is always at Tony's flats and other high-end masterminds and things like that. And so Tony was kind enough to write the introduction to this book for us.
Yeah, and I think what's really significant, we're sort of reverse engineering this, but to underscore why this book is so important and the content can be profound for your future, your economic future. Tony doesn't do forwards, and he does do blurbs, and he's very discriminating. He did a five-page, not five-paragraph forward in this, and one of the things he says is he wishes he had known all these methodologies when he was starting, but he is significantly committed to this. He said he wants to start integrating a lot of this belief.
Me too, Jeff. Wish I had known 50 years ago.
Mastery courses advance. And this is to him and to me and to Roland something very, very, very important at this stage of your business or your wealth creating or just your crossroads of what you're going to do with the rest of your economic life. That's good on one. The next one, Damon John, you should all know if you don't, if you're out of the country, he is a panelist with Shark Tank, and he has been a mentee of mine. He's a colleague and a partner of Roland's. I've had a long relationship with him, a very qualitative man, and I've had the very good fortune not only of mentoring him and some of his colleagues, but of him acknowledging the power, not of how great I am, but of how powerful my methodologies are. He wrote the 3-page introduction to the book.
And then last but not least, Gino Wickman. And Gino wrote some fantastic books, probably most well known for the Entrepreneurial Operating System, which a lot of people use, OS, and the book Traction.
Yeah.
So he was kind enough as well to write, I think he wrote the preface.
He wrote the preface. So we've got 3 very credible people who will never compromise the integrity of their reputation, their brand on something that doesn't live up to it, all putting the full force of their credibility on the line. So that's what you read in the very beginning of this 447-page, really mammoth book. Okay.
Awesome. So let's talk about who this is for. So if you own a business and you would like to exponentially grow and scale it, including using acquisitions to do that, then this is for you. Or if you own a business and you'd like to sell it for the highest price possible, meaning that you're thinking about, how do I cash out? How do I exit this thing that I've got? Or
I'm interested in that one.
The subtitle of our book is, you would like to create a lifetime of income and wealth every 3 to 5 years, then this is for you. Now, where we've done this, Jay, do you want to talk a little bit about our experience doing this stuff?
Actually, I do have a plan in place to see if it makes any sense.
Sometimes in 5, 6 cities in a country: China, Singapore, UK, Italy, Vietnam, all over, but in over 1,000 industries, not businesses, all over the country. About $100 billion of increased revenue, and more importantly, significantly increased profit. Bottom line profit has been created.
Awesome. So here's some things that you're not going to need to do this. If you're thinking, well, my business is going to need a ton of cash to make this happen, now we're going to disabuse you of that. You do not need a ton of cash in your business to make this happen, nor do you need a ton of cash flow. You also don't need giant lines of credit. You don't need to have, dealing with banks actually at all is not something that we generally talk about, and therefore, you don't need banking contacts and relationships. You don't need to have M&A or mergers and acquisitions or exit experience, and you don't even need to have a big company to start with, although if you do, we can add even more in terms of dollars to those.
Yeah, and also, one of the things that I've always done for my clients is we do what I call 10x moonshot bottom line growth. We find enormous profit enhancement and profit multiplying methodology that requires 0 extra investment or risk.
And let's talk a little bit about what you're going to learn today. So we're going to talk about how you can acquire profitable businesses for little or no cash out of pocket, how you can exponentially grow any business faster. What does exponential growth mean exactly? What do you think?
Well, if you think about it, this is linear. This is exponential. The simplest terms without not mathematical.
I love it. Okay. And how to sell your business for the highest possible price. So here's the deal. This is not something that we read about or learned from other people. or even did 1,000 years ago, and now we're kind of trying to teach it. It's something that we do every single day, and you'll see when we talk about the reasons that we're doing this, why we're doing it. But there's no theory here, none, just reality. Our portfolio, our current portfolio companies span a ton of different industries, including e-learning, retail, manufacturing, e-commerce, software as a service, events, B2B, B2C, consumer packaged goods, all of those things and more. And as Jay mentioned, our clients and our companies have increased by over $100 billion in sales so far, which is, I don't know anybody that's done that I know of.
And the operative word is increase.
Yes.
Not just revenue, but the multiplication.
No credit for the existing stuff. Only the growth.
Yeah.
And so our own portfolio last year did $6.3 billion in total sales volume as well, across 38 different verticals. 38 different verticals. And the interesting thing there is that all of those companies that are in those verticals were acquired with little or no money out of our own pocket. Also, down at the bottom, you can see there 16 times that I could count, and I only had a chance to go through a few of the companies to do this, but 16 times, I'm sure it's a whole lot more than that, on the Inc. 500 list of fastest growing companies.
And Roland, I think it's important to know that the methodology, the techniques, the strategies that did that, and that all the stories we're going to talk about today all are embodied in the book. They're all explained in the book clearly and actionably.
All right, so let's go. Okay, so this took over 2 years to create. We started talking about this a couple of years ago, really wanted to get it. We were both a little frustrated. We couldn't get it out any faster, but we wanted it to be as perfect as it could. And between us, I feel like most of this is you, the 90 years of experience combined between us. I'm
older, that's what he's saying.
We're young now. But between us, we have almost a century of experience, and we've worked with over 2 million businesses between the two of us, as we mentioned, in 183 countries, and all of this is combined for you in the new book that we've got that we're releasing today.
And this is from the heart. This is just clinical. It's not arrogant. But in my life, I've had the good fortune of being a critical contributor to ICON, Entrepreneur Magazine, Bulletproof Coffee, the co-CEO of Keller Williams, the founder of Planet Fitness. I go on and on and on. But this is all coming from real world on the front lines of capitalism. Very successful experience.
And the book is Business Wealth Without Risk. Business Wealth Without Risk. Really, how can you create, without any risk, a whole lot of wealth and income in and through the ownership of business? So the subtitle, again, How to Create a Lifetime of Income and Wealth Every 3 to 5 years. Now, there is the elephant in the room anytime that somebody asks you to attend something like this, and that is, do Jay and Roland have something to sell? Well, yes, we do. We very flagrantly want you to be bought in on investing in and reading the book. And I thought that was a really good thing that Jay brought up. It's like, we don't want you to just buy the book. We want you to consume it. Why is that so important to us?
Well, there's a number of reasons. We'll get to it at the end. But if you're at a point in your life where you're trying to figure out the rest of your life, the options you have are very, very, they're very scary. You can start a business from scratch, but you have a 1 in 20 first year and a 1 in 10 5-year success rate. You can go on with the business you've got, and if you don't know how to do it differently, whether it means grow it, maximize, and blow up the profit, you're going to end up, as Einstein says, that's basically the definition of insanity. You'll never get anything else. And there's so much going on with AI that a lot of people's jobs are going to have to be eliminated. You're either going to have to be retrained or have a better strategy.
Exactly. And as far as anything else goes, you're just going to have to wait and see. Okay. But the cool thing is that everybody that stays to the end of this live event today is going to receive a free gift. And the only way to get it is to be here live right now. None of the access to that will be available to anybody that is not here live right now. And stay till the end. And as far as, well, what is the gift worth? Is it worth the investment of my time? I mean, just learning this stuff should be worth more than the investment of your time. But just in case, I'll tell you, it is worth more than a Starbucks gift card, and it is less than a Boeing business jet. So we'll give you a nice wide variety of things.
And I would say it's not anything even comparable to what anyone else on any other webinar or launch you've ever participated in has had the ability to offer.
Okay. And
What's going on
I'm getting a message from outside that I can't hear. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about what we're going to do over the next 80 minutes. Well, I get that.
Hey, Roland.
Okay.
We're going to do this very tight.
Oh, okay. So what we have is a surprise guest that popped in.
Roland.
Marcus Lamanis from the
Can you
Profit
hear me?
has popped in and said that he would like to share a few words with us. So let's bring Marcus on now and see what he has to say.
Sure.
Roland, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Roland? Hello?
The stage can hear you. Yes. I can't see anything.
Seamless. We're seamless.
So, you know.
Okay, they're putting him on now. This is great. What a surprise. I'm actually intrigued. Let's see what he says.
Okay, well, listen, I don't know if Roland can hear me, but I think everybody else can. I'm at the grocery store, and I've got this message that you guys are launching a new product called You Can Be Rich, but you don't have to work hard. My wife made me come to the grocery store, and I'm working hard as hell. So, first of all, I want to congratulate you guys on the work that you're doing. I just got invited to this event. For some reason, somebody didn't want to invite me early, Roland, but I just got invited to this event. And I want to congratulate you guys on continuing to provide a platform for people to learn. And at the end of the day, I know the cover of the book is a tongue-in-cheek. It is a lot of hard work to be successful, and I know both of you know that. But the key to it is learning and listening to other people. And I think the most important thing, Roland, that you do is you share ideas and you allow other people to share ideas. And that's really the key to a lot of this. And so I congratulate you guys on your new book. I would love to get a copy, one that's signed, so I can resell it for more money on Amazon. But I don't know, Roland, if you have any questions for me while I'm out grocery shopping.
No, I just want to thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming in and saying hi, and we won't keep you from your grocery shopping, but we'll look forward to seeing you again really soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations, guys.
That's so cool. And a point, if I may, that's right. But there's a positioning shift that I want you to think about. And I've done this all my career. Either you work hard for your career or your business, or you figure out how to get it to work hard for you. There's nothing in between.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're trying to give you the methodology that you can get businesses to work harder and harder for you and give you leverage, but not leverage with dangerous downside, just upside and near infinite leverage, which we'll explain in a minute.
So here's what we're going to do over the next 80 minutes or so. First, we're going to share an insane amount of income increasing, wealth building stuff that you can use now in your business. And also, we're going to ask you to join us in paying it forward by sharing it with other people as well. And our journey together is going to look like this today. First, we're going to talk about how we can acquire businesses. Second, we're going to talk about how can we grow and scale them. And third, we're going to talk about exiting them, which happens to be the three parts that we have in our book.
Wow, that's coincidental.
So let's start out. Who here would like to know how to buy unlimited profitable businesses with little or no money out of pocket? That is the question. Awesome. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about right now. And I want to start with both Jay and I sharing with you guys that you don't need money to do this. There are so many things that you can use that are not money to accomplish things that most people only think money can buy for them. And so I'll tell you, like, the way that I learned this, I was 18 years old. I was driving in my father's car, and I looked in the back, and there were two programs, and one of them was a book by Robert Allen called Nothing Down. Right. And that was basically how to acquire real estate with nothing down. So I read the book, and then I bought my first house using no money. And for anybody that has ever bought a house, especially if you're a kid and you're buying a house, and at the end you come away with a house and you didn't have to pay any money for it, you get that smile on your face that's just like, I just did this. It's amazing. The real estate led to businesses, and the rest is history. Jay and I both use strategies like this to acquire all of the following out of pocket, from businesses to houses to cars to pianos. And Jay, you got some fun things, like you got a whole art collection now, and I find your really cool artwork.
Yeah. One of the things, by the way, Robert Allen was one of many real estate clients I had. Robert Allen, Albert Lowry, I can go on and on. But I've done a lot of experts over my career. But I've used it to buy or acquire over $150 million of business. I've used it to get, Roland probably knows this, 30 or 40 cars in my driveway right now. This is not arrogant, an AMG 63 my wife has. I've got a Range Rover supercharged. I got an NSX. I got a Porsche. I got a tricked out Maserati. And I paid for one, and the only reason I paid for one is I needed a tax roll the next year. It was a heavy one. But yeah, my whole belief is your problem is not really a problem, but your problem is a solution to somebody else's bigger problem or opportunity. All you have to do is figure out who they are, what it is, and how to masterfully incentivize them to put the full force of their resources to your advantage. And it's not as hard as you think, because I'm a proven, I've done it over and over and over and over and over again, and we're going to keep doing it over and over, and hopefully we'll get to it.
Exactly. So different sources, by the way, just so you know, peg barter, which is when you're trading something of value that's not cash for something else of value that you would like, at up to $300 million plus per year. And bartering and consulting for equity, which is a form of barter, are just two of over 300 different strategies that we use to acquire and grow businesses to sell. And you can very often, and you'll see in some of the case studies we do, use a single strategy. So it's not like you have to know 300 of them, but we do have quite a few, because the more options you have,
That's right.
that's always going to be better for you. And the good news is that you could use any one of those 300 strategies to acquire your next business, or to acquire a business to tack on to the business that you've got right now.
Because I live in the world of exponentiality, and I teach people how to be exponential entrepreneurs. When you add one or two more, it's not linear. Everything we're talking about, you don't have to use more than one strategy, but if you use two or three, the results you'll get it'll be asymmetric, meaning it'll be unimaginably greater than just one.
Awesome. Just like we did with Mango Automotive. So we acquired an interest in a multi-location auto repair company that specializes in repairing electric vehicles. We are in the studios right now of Everbowl, which is a healthy craft superfood restaurant chain that has sold over 450 franchises. They were kind enough to let us use their studio today, so thank you, Everbowl. Go try Everbowl. That's my shameless plug for them. We also used it to acquire ownership in a company called Digital Marketer, which is the leading provider of digital marketing training in the country. And also, I have a passion, and this is something that's cool to think about too, is that you can acquire around your passions. So I'm a musician, and I love music, and I love playing music and performing and writing and all of those things. And I was able to acquire an interest in one of the leading online instructional companies called Guitar Mastery Method. Again, no money out of pocket. Also, a business formation company called PCS, Prime Corporate Services, which
this is a very important concept that they're doing. They are sharing the folks with whom they collaborate, and it's a very important concept as you're trying to grow and try to make something happen. Businesses, and you've heard many times, and it's one of my mantras. We must collaborate with one another. That's how business continues, is collaborations. And in our community, our particular expertise is in marketing, sales, creative marketing, sales, collaborations. So if you need or want to get involved, we are establishing these marketing sales collaboratives in the 387 MSAs in the United States. Once a group of 10 in any one market is created, we then publish a postcard that has QR codes on it, which are the stories that I produce when you and I have a conversation. That's what it means to become a participant, a member in our collaboratives. the cost of admission, if you will, the fee registration, is $99. And for $99, I will produce a 19-minute marketing and sales focus, or your business focus, whatever you want. Yeah, you say the focus that you want the 19-minute recording to be, and then I will ask the proper questions for you to create a video that you will then have the opportunity to market yourselves. I will give you the URL that is created in the YouTube. Ultimately, it starts out as a Google Meet, then I upload it to YouTube. So I will give you a YouTube URL to use for your purposes for 30 days. That's included in the registration fee. And then, like I said, once we get 10 folks in any one market together, committed, I will then publish a postcard that will have QR codes taking whoever receives the postcard to your to the recording that you and I created. It's pretty simple. It's very, very simple. So if you have any interest in that, there should be, depending upon where you are viewing this, there should be contact information for me. Leave a message in the comment section of the YouTube, and I will monitor it and get back to it. So we will. That's what I wanted to personally share. And we're talking about exponential entrepreneurship. I have mastered the art of strategic alliances because basically I'm a direct marketer. I pick the folks with whom I want to collaborate. I don't necessarily invite people to come to my website and try to get in. I pick the folks with whom I want to collaborate. So it's a little bit different, but it's a formula that has worked for me for over 50 years. Storytelling, that's what I do. I tell stories personally. I publish a lot of the stories on Facebook, on my Facebook page. When we talk about business stories, I publish them. I put them in Facebook, but a little better thrust is LinkedIn. I publish the URL on LinkedIn, and then for sure I have about a half a dozen different web landing pages. That's what we do. We produce and publish web landing pages. I have about 6 of them, so I will take that URL, the YouTube that we've created, and put it all over the place where it makes sense for the creative marketing and sales message that we want to deliver. So that's what getting involved with one of our 387 markets where we have marketing, sales, collaborations. Let's go back to Jay and Roland and see what.
It's likely to go well beyond that.
Yeah, blow people's mind, of course. But you have 3 more factors. You've got the ability to consult for equity. It's another dimension. You have the ability to buy, as I said, the ancillary, the tail wagging the dog.
Yeah.
And you got the ability to buy rights to something, which I'll get into later. So it actually multiplies those numbers to an outrageously.
I'm really glad you said that, because you can also acquire assets. You don't just have to acquire businesses as entire units. You can acquire parts of them. You can acquire intellectual property or any of the different asset classes. That
just to blow your mind. So I've had clients that had a process that was quite profound. For example,
my intellectual property.
a car wash that had a methodology.
I've set a price on mine.
My
intellectual property.
The high end.
It's pretty high one. So if you want to have a conversation about it, let me know. If you want to have a Google Meet that we don't necessarily record, you can send an email to dleopold@davisbarter.com. In that email, tell me what you want to talk about and what time you have available. And then if I have that same time available, I will send you back a Google Meet invite.
The Rose Bowl where everybody plays football had this massive parking, and it was only used for.
I'm actually watching myself on the YouTube, on this YouTube. I came in just on through YouTube and not through my page.
Flea markets all the days that it wasn't being used. You gave them a royalty. He had one little thing.
This is too crazy.
He didn't know anything about flea markets, but he found the number
So-
one flea market management company. He got them to give him $1 million up front and a royalty. He just
I am doing all the things. Well, I'm doing the things they're talking about. I'm certainly that when I read their book, Jay and Roland's book, I will learn more things that I could be doing. I actually have not read a copy of it yet. I've gotten all the media materials.
In the United States and 10% internationally ever end up selling, which means there's a tremendous inefficiency in that market. And the 80 to 90% of people that wanted to sell but can't, they're people we can buy businesses from. The third crisis is kind of a combination.
Interesting. I just got a new subscriber.
One is a more global front, and the second is
Thank
a more
you.
personal front. But the global is that economic crises happen
Shahid
every few years right now.
Parvez. My eyesight's not very good. I apologize if I didn't read your name properly, but thank you for subscribing. I have not had I haven't had a new subscriber for a long time, basically because I have not marketed the YouTube as a YouTube. I have marketed the YouTubes that I create in a web land. I publish a web landing page environment. But now I'm going to spend time developing this channel. And also, I haven't set it up, but one of my next to-dos is to create a Google site with the domain name celebratebusiness.tv. I actually had that domain at GoDaddy, and before I closed everything down at GoDaddy, I grabbed the URL and it's waiting to go into GoDaddy domains, which I will do later on. And in the next day or two, I will create that web page. So
we call those motivated sellers.
That's where we are. And thank you.
There are people that are experiencing the ups and downs of the economy that they don't want to deal with. And there are people who have basically tried to list their company for sale and been unable to do that. All of those people are people that we can acquire from whole businesses or parts of businesses and business assets to grow.
And I'm going back to this a little more. It's not sophisticated. It's really just a really cool way of looking at something. Sometimes a business product or service that doesn't seem very desirable can be unbelievably valuable when attached to another business. It could be an add-on that gives you an.
I have never used the chat functionality very effectively over the years because I'm one person doing it all, and so I want to focus on the conversation as opposed to folks who necessarily have questions. So that's I don't know how we're going to
business and I could just start up another one.
I don't know how we'll deal with that in the future. Probably, I probably will not be involved in real-time chat, but if you take the time to put something in the chat, you absolutely will get a response. So I will make that commitment.
Employees, contact systems, all of those things are already present when you buy a business. And as we mentioned, the market of businesses to acquire is huge. As a matter of fact, in the United States, Canada, Europe, and Australia, there's about 57 million SMBs, which are small and medium-sized businesses. And if we think about how many there are, there's roughly 57 million total. At any given time, there's about 4.3 million of those that are trying to sell actively by listing. Only about 720,000 of those are actually going to sell. That means we've got 3.6 million businesses. And if you multiply that, thinking that we could buy 2 or 3 types of asset from each one, that's over 10 million acquisition opportunities.
Yeah, and for those of you who already own a business, let me give you another reality check. So if you bring multiple businesses in the same category together, the economies of scale can turn a marginal business into a very profitable one. Because
we are looking for marketing and sales folks to collaborate with our communities, which will be in the 387 MSAs.
People buy before, during, I'm getting ahead of ourselves, after, even instead. Instead sounds terrible, but a lot of people get leads and they convert a small number, and those people are buying something else from someone else, or people buy one of many products you could buy and they buy the rest from somebody else. There's a myriad of ways you can use this to multiply what we call the sunk cost you already spend on acquiring a buyer or a prospect or a distribution channel or have a salesperson.
100%. So here's the 5-step plan. The first step is position yourself as an investor. So wherever you are in your business journey, if you are the CEO and owner of $1 billion company or $100,000 company, the thing that you're going to want to do is to let the world know that you're in the market to potentially acquire businesses to expand, right? Or even if that's something you're looking to start doing, right? So we want to let the world know that the easiest thing to do is to just let them know publicly wherever you are present. So on your social media profiles, if you look at all of my social media across every single one, it says I'm an investor because I am, right? The second thing that you want to do is you want to protect your credit and your business and personal assets. And so we use something called an SPV, which is a fancy lawyer word that allows lawyers, I'm a recovering attorney, so I can say this, allows us as lawyers to charge a whole lot more for an SPV than we can for an LLC or a corporation. So that's why we call it that. But it is actually an entity that has limited liability that we're going to use to acquire companies or do deals, right? That separates our personal assets and the assets of our business from any liability from the activities that we do. And as a special bonus for all of those of you who are here that stay till the end of the day, we're going to show you how you can get your SPV set up for free, no service cost. That's something we normally charge $2,000 for, along with a consultation about how to use it effectively. That's going to be free to you. All you have to do is cover the government cost of formation. The third step is going to be to source and analyze the deals that you want to require. The very first part of that is deciding how much money you would like to make. That's going to be how much money would you like the company that you're going to acquire or the assets that you're acquiring.
An SPV, if you stay until the end.
We do this is we have motivated sellers, which we talked about, and off-market deals, meaning deals that are not actively listed for sale, to get the maximum ROI. We talk about why motivated sellers. Off-market deals is because if a deal is listed, the whole objective of an investment banker or a business broker is to create an auction environment where multiple bidders as potential buyers are vying to acquire a company to bid up the price to the highest it can be. That's kind of the opposite of what we want, right? So let's talk about how you can find these. They're available through data sources like ZoomInfo, Sales Navigator, Crunchbase. You can go and look on LinkedIn, on social media, in meetup groups at meetup.com. You can do direct mail campaigns. We do this pretty regularly. You can do email campaigns. We do that regularly. You can send ringless voicemails, which are voicemail messages that you leave in bulk to people that then can ask them if they're interested in selling their business. There's lots of services that we don't own any interest in any of these, by the way. Call Loop, drop.co/slide broadcast that will do that for you. You can listen to Apple Podcasts. Podcasts are great acquisitions. Spotify, etc. You can attend masterminds and networking groups. Those are all ways to do that. And then track your outreach. So this is just a screenshot of a Google Doc where we're reaching out to HVAC companies to acquire and accounting companies. And we're just tracking the number of outreaches that we do, who responds, what the conversion rates are. And here's the cool thing. You can use these acquisitions to solve pretty much any business challenge that you face. If you're looking for more customers, then you can acquire your direct and indirect competitors. Jay talked about a couple of deals like that a minute ago, right? And that's called horizontal integration. This is to increase your market share. So if you want to have literally twice as many customers as you have today, tomorrow, close a deal to acquire a company that has the same number of customers you do. A lot of people forget that that's even a possibility. If you need leads, then you can acquire other people's media, where other people have aggregated the attention and eyeballs of your ideal customer profile. You can acquire capability through acquiring teams or equipment or resources. We've acquired multiple companies just to get a team of salespeople, inside salespeople, outside salespeople, a dealer network, software developers. There's no faster way because we don't know how to build those teams. We don't want to have the trial and error of doing it and spending all the money and waiting 2 years to get it right. We just get one that already works. If we want to increase our average order value, Jay, you talk about this, so I'm going to let you talk a little bit about those BAD products, but it's basically acquiring, again, companies or assets that will add additional products and services to our own that the customers are likely to buy.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, most people aren't trained at the level of profit enhancement we're talking about. And if you think about it, the people you're selling to don't just buy what you sell. They buy things before, they buy things during, they buy things after, they buy things instead. And some of them buy things for a while, and then they buy something else. And I use an example. If you sold a supplement for weight loss, a lot of people will take it for an average of 3 or 4 months, but they don't really change their eating, and they aren't going to lose a lot of weight, so they give up on that, and then they might do another supplement, or they might do a piece of equipment, or they might do a portion control type of food, like a Jenny Grant, or they might buy a membership to a gym, or they might do an online or a private trainer, or they might buy recipe books. And they're going to buy it from somebody that you already have the sunk cost investment in identifying them. That's the biggest expense. You already know.
Zero customer acquisition cost because you already have the customer.
And I want to make a point that I don't think is in here, but it's important for everybody because Roland is telling you all kinds of things anybody can do. And you think, I don't know if I can do that. I'm going to tell you about something I've never told you about. I've been working on a document for a year called the Tom Sawyer School of Business. Anybody who's ever read Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain, you remember that Tom Sawyer's grandmother wanted him to whitewash the fence. He didn't want to, so he invited all the kids to do it, and he's sitting smoking his pipe. I actually did that. It's a little bit ADD, but bear with me. When I was 18, I got paid to paint fire hydrants. Honest to God, in Indianapolis. I got 50 cents, and I got all the kids in the neighborhood and gave them a quarter, gave them brushes, and they did it for me. But I'm telling you this because if you go, I love it.
Fence postals.
Yeah, what?
Or those things that you have to put down. That is like the worst piece of technology ever to dig a hole. And I got a bunch of people that do that too.
Anyhow, here's what I want you to know. It's the Tom Sawyer School of Business. If you say, well, I can't do these things, there's somebody else who would love to do it for a small piece of your deal or an override. And you go, well, I can't sell. There's salespeople galore that would love to do this and get a piece of the business. I can't manage. There's plenty of people to get it. You can have people do everything and you still get the lion's share. And I actually worked out a document that's going to be printed up in a week and we can give that to them too.
I love that.
Okay. That's pretty explains that here.
I like that. And if you're thinking, well, yeah, that works for some people, but not me. I mean, there's a little tiny company called Amazon that does it probably better than anybody with a recommendation engine that says people that bought this thing that you bought also bought this. Yeah. And people that bought this and this. How would you like to buy that as a bundle?
Yeah,
right?
It works.
Right, exactly. And so that's to help increase the average order value, which is one of Jay's 3 ways to grow a business, which he'll talk about in a little bit. And the next thing would be acquiring recurring revenue assets that have a continuing payment. And both for AOV and LCV is lifetime customer value, AOV is average order value.
I love acronyms.
For both of those things, one of the easiest things to do is to add a service to a product that you sell that helps people to achieve the use of the product or to use the product faster or in a more automated way or more intently. Or to add services to a product or add product to a service.
They just mentioned lifetime value,
productize that or
and
a product that would go with it. The next thing,
I've been talking about lifetime value for virtually all my 50 years. In the 1994-95, I had access to a lot of insurance companies and financial institutions through them wanting to get my marketing, sales expertise and customer care insight and customer touch points, and how do you maximize the lifetime value of a customer when you have all these touch points. And insurance companies were notoriously bad for not using all those touch points, because I actually identified
distributors are easy to identify because there's a wholesaler to give it to sell to the retailers that sell our stuff. But
I presented this to the insurance industry in 1994, where we talked about customer live customer care, customer lifetime value, lifetime customer value, net present value. These were the touch points that insurance companies had back then. I'm not quite sure where the digital world has taken them, because we didn't have the digital world back here. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were 7 touch points. These are life insurance and health insurance. That was my specialty. I was not involved in property and casualty very much. Few instances, but mostly life and health and life and health. So I love what I'm listening to today, because it's validating things that I have been doing in my life. That's a great thing. But also listening, there are new things for me to think about, and the only way I'm going to find them and define them and take notes is to get the book. So that is on my wish list, my bucket list. I'm not even sure it's available. I'm sure we'll hear by the end.
So we acquired that and instantly added all of those customers to our digital marketer company.
Let me see if I can, if it's available on Amazon right now.
Of real estate agents that we could have working under our real estate brokerage, we bought a Facebook group that had tens of thousands of real estate agents. When we wanted to have a software team that developed software for one of our companies,
I'm going to go to Amazon and see if I can buy the book right now.
And so then we instantly had that without having to learn. When we wanted to add additional business services to the services that we were already providing, we acquired an interest in a company that provided business services. That meant we could now offer those services to our existing customers and increase the AOV, or average order value. When we
Typing in the title of the book.
For that business formation business to acquire more customers and have more services that were ongoing, because you can form a company once and then you're kind of done. But what do those companies need? They need taxes. They need accounting. So we acquired a tax and accounting firm called Insight to help add additional services. When we were selling pet products, we bought a company called WeGo Doggo that was a manufacturer that would manufacture the products. So we had vertical integration, supply and distribution. And when we wanted to start a business that had hundreds of business plans already prepared with the software that went with them, we acquired a company called Business Book Source that had over almost 200 of them, so that we instantly had that all instantly as a result of the acquisition.
So I'm going to give you a totally non-linear
DUSINDSS.
So I have a client right now, and they're doing a roll-up in logistics. And we've looked at a lot of logistics companies, and some of them have a very, very elevated idea of what their business is worth. But when I look I saw that a lot of these people that started, they were the salesman or woman when they started.
Right.
Then they got successful. Then they went into the basically ivory tower. They went fishing. They travel, and their salespeople are the ones that basically have all the relationships. The owners don't even know about it, and they've never offered the salespeople any equity whatsoever. We would buy the sales force and give them basically the chance to earn phantom equity.
Fantastic. I love that. So then we say, okay, well, now I like the idea, Jay and Roland, of doing that. How do I do that without having to have a bunch of money? That's when we talk about step 4, funding your deals with little or no money out of pocket. And we create this thing called the deal stack. And there are a few different things to think about. There's some negotiations that go on at different times. I'm going to talk about that first, and then I'm going to share with you some specifics about the deal stack.
It doesn't look like I can order it.
Are we dealing with a seller or a third party in the negotiation, in this part of the negotiation for this acquisition? And are we doing this before we create a letter of intent or LOI with the seller, or after that? So if it's with the seller and before the LOI, we're really just talking about the terms of the deal and what's going to be included and what's going to be excluded. If we're talking before the LOI with a third party, we're talking about maybe terms of them being involved, favorable terms they're going to give us after the acquisition because they're a supplier or a participant, or maybe we're talking about investments that they might be making in the business. After the LOI is signed with the seller, we're going to go through something called due diligence to be sure everything they said was exactly as they said it was. And we're going to make some adjustments to that. And then with the third parties, we'll probably be negotiating terms and forming new or different relationships. So this is the way we do this. We basically look at what is the ask price, the asset or the company that we're looking to buy, and how do we get it down to zero? The thing in between that is what we call the gap. And there are about 30 different strategies that we use to do this. We don't have time to go in them here. Several of them are discussed in the book, even more in the bonus materials that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But basically, there's 30 of these strategies that will get you through about 80% of the deals that you do, okay? And so we have a worksheet that we work through to see what strategies with what terms will help us do the deal stack in any particular deal. And we call it the deal stack because you can stack. You might only need, as we said earlier, one of the strategies to work, but you might need several. And so all of them are available. We've got almost 300, and they kind of click together like Lego blocks to build the thing that is going to fill the gap between zero and the purchase price. So maybe you use $400,000 to carve out assets you don't want. You have $600,000 that the seller agrees to finance in the deal. Maybe you have an earnout where the seller agrees to take some money later if certain events happen. Maybe you have the seller keep title to the inventory assets that you're buying, and you pay the seller off as you sell the inventory. Or maybe you go to a supplier, and the supplier agrees to give you a loan or better terms. Maybe you have accounts receivable in the business that you can sell to a factor, or any other type of tactic. But here's just kind of a sample of 10 things that we've stacked together to be able to afford a $2 million acquisition without having to come out of our pocket.
And Roland,
Yes,
and we're powering through all this. Remember,
that's why we've got this giant, huge
the
book.
book is 447 pages. We wrote it not to tease because, as we'll tell you, our end game is very, 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 very. It's very credible, but it's also very transparent. We're looking for deal flow, but we want to make sure anybody who is at a crossroads can use this. But if it sounds a little bit wow, overwhelming, it is not. We break it apart and we really simplify it, clarify it, and give you very, very actionable, easy to understand, and easy for you or anyone you wish to do it with you or for you to do. I want to make that clear because we're powering through.
Love that. And then the last step 5 is going to be the closure deal, get paid and build wealth. Give you a couple of examples of a couple deals I did. This is a $400 million service company that I acquired for zero out of pocket. We started with a $10 million valuation, $1 million investment by me to purchase 10%, but I didn't use money. I used a consulting for equity strategy where I would provide services that helped the business in exchange for that 10% interest. And over just the last couple of years, that's returned $4 million plus in cash and 39 times increase in the valuation of my $1 million non-cash investment. Another deal is a $16 million media company. Acquired that for zero out of pocket, $3.3 million, doing $16 million in sales. $3.3 million valuation, got 60% seller financing. That was 3 years at 0% interest. Very seldom do I ever have to pay interest. And then 40% from a third-party private money loan, which was also 3 years, interest only at 10%. That returned $11 million in cash and a 61 times valuation increase right off the bat. So our success is proof that we can do this successfully, but obviously the real proof is the fact that we've taught thousands of other people how to do it too. Sam Karamian, who is the founder of Big Block Realty, $75,000 media property acquired for zero out of pocket through a $50,000 18-month sponsorship to somebody that wanted a personal brand to have access to this group as kind of a high-level contributor, and then another $20,000 as an 18-month sponsorship to a non-competing complementary business. And then last but not least, the person that brought the deal put in the difference. Jim, who I have blurred out because Jim is very shy, has one of the larger deals that have been done for no money out of pocket recently. $98 million service company for zero out. He just did a stock swap. So he basically engineered the acquisition of the other company in exchange for stock in Jim's company. And then one of my business partners, Ryan Dice, acquired $100,000 SaaS company for zero out of pocket. This was a 3-year-old company that was a software as a service business, $100,000 purchase price. $90,000 of that was with 10-month seller financing at 0% interest, and $10,000 from an email sent to the existing list through something we call a deferred down payment. And on, like Anthony and Jonathan and Matt and Jalitza and JM and Paul, our clients have told us that they've completed over $1 billion in acquisitions to date using our strategies. And we cover all of that in part 1 of the book.
Yeah, and two things. We're going both sides of the spectrum. The smaller and the larger, because we want you to know this is universal. It works for any kind of business. It works for anybody who wants to acquire a business. And then when I give you my middle of this, it's going to blow your mind because you're going to see all kinds of ways once you get control of it to just blow up profitability with zero investment and zero risk.
And if you'd like more than the book, without having to pay your dues for 40 years or 40 or so each year, right? Without having staff and contractor expenses of over $30 million to learn all this stuff, without almost a decade of higher education that I invested in, without overpaying for the businesses that you acquire, like both of us have done, without millions of dollars in lost deals because you made mistakes along the way, or over $2 million in training and education, here's what we've got for you. We've got the business wealth without risk acquisition system. So if you're tired of failing to rapidly grow your business and you're ready to do it immediately, or you've been unable to solve problems like leads, sales, profit margin, innovation, recurring revenue, or sales constraints, and you had no idea how you were going to finally crack the code, or if you're sick of hiring expensive consultants and agencies and others that never deliver on the growth promises they make or the scale promises they make, you don't have the cash, connections, or scale to attract these exclusive white glove investment companies like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan to raise capital, or you're just stuck at 6 figures, 7, 8, even 9 figures. Businesses get stuck. This is for you. This is the acquisition mastery system as part of Business Wealth Without Risk. And this is a complete M&A training program. There's hours and hours of training, training on LOIs, letters of intent, NDA, non-disclosure agreements, purchase agreements that are in there, templates for that. Our zero out-of-pocket funding strategy breakdown, a database of about 5,000 different buyers and potential sellers of deals. We break down 8 deals for you. There's over 15,000 potential partners that you can access in our community, and there's deal sourcing and seller network membership. This is something that we value at $1,500, okay? So you get the system that we've got for Business Wealth Without Risk, plus the M&A training as well. And now we're going to talk about how to exponentially grow any business really fast. Let's talk about moonshots, okay?
Yeah, well, first of all, moonshots are of 2 kinds. One is the one everybody talks about, the 10X top line. And there's nothing wrong with it, but it can be very expensive to start with and very difficult if you try to do it yourself. The 10X bottom line is like a no-brainer. It's just making everything you're doing produce more now and in the future. And the good news is almost nobody knows how to do that. I'm not demeaning you if you're profitable, I've had the good fortune of traveling around the world, figuratively and literally. I've worked in over 1,000 industries myself. I've seen over 10,000 different ways of doing strategy, business model, marketing, distribution, lead generation, conversion, monetization, extending the value of a buyer, figuring out how to get unsold prospects profitable. And I can tell you that almost no business you ever get control of or own now comes close to maximizing and optimizing the performance of everything you're doing, everywhere you're doing it, everyone you're doing it with, all the money it's spending, all the opportunity cost available, all the assets available.
And part of this is how you think about things. And we've gone into a lot of depth about mental models for thinking better. You want to talk a little bit about that, kind of how that works?
Yeah, well,
Obviously, they're all in the book.
But we go into a chapter on it. But we're giving you a little bit of a little taste of it when we show you how to think differently.
I am going to have to stop, end this live stream, this YouTube live stream, because I need to be doing another, I need to produce another Google Meet on this computer, so I'm going to have to shut it down. I am going to keep this computer show listening to Jay and Roland, because it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating what they're talking about and sharing, and nobody can talk about what they are talking about, but they once again, they are sharing with you the things that they have done in their lives, and that's how we do it. I test everything that I do, and I would not be presenting it to anybody unless it proved valuable to me, and B, we had the capability to creating that value for whomever we might be producing or publishing. So thank you for your time today. And we have given you little hints to contact me, and we will be producing more live YouTubes. Oh, we will also be putting a lot of what we produce at celebratebusiness.tv. So both of those networks, web landing pages will have videos available. Lots of videos available. So we'll see you soon, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
And basically, we're going to show you a hypothetical business that, are we going to fill it in?